appreciate that. We are so fortunate to live in a state with a governor who champions our first responders. Can I get it? We talk about law enforcement a lot, but we also have our correctional and probation officers that the governor supports and our legislators support. We have our emergency medical and our fire department. They have to show up on scene when things are called. A lot of times the fire truck and the emergency medical service gets there before we do. And they have to almost stabilize a scene while stabilizing a patient. And sometimes the anxiety's up, people are around it, and they have to say get back while they work on the patient to save lives. So this bill will help them on that. Senate Bill 184 is a great piece of legislation because we have officers that have to deal with protest, and then we have to effect an arrest with somebody who is committing a crime during the protest. Then you have people around that officer that is also trying to dissuade them, and part of that is impede, harass, or threaten while they're still trying to subdue this person so people can have a peaceful protest and get them out of the way. So this, I want to commend the legislation for pushing this forward, and Governor, thank you for taking this on and spearheading this, because we saw on TV with the New York police officers trying to subdue a guy to arrest him, and then you have people, illegal aliens coming in and trying to take shots at him. I mean, that's just uncalled for in our streets. And in the state of Florida, you're in a common sense state. So our firefighters have to deal with this, EMS has to deal with this, and they can give testimony through their career. So Senate Bill 184 is, I appreciate that. It's a great thing. Let's talk about House Bill 601. This is another one. We have been doing law enforcement or criminal justice reform in this state for decades. I just wish, I read ACLU's comment today saying this would impede the community with the law enforcement. I'd say I wish ACLU would get things right instead of get it wrong. If they would pay attention to how our state works, we have review boards. We have the Criminal Justice Standard and Training Commission that deals with every incident that's referred, that's mandatory referred by state statute over to them. And that body looks at them for moral character. Every agency has an internal affairs, and if they don't, they utilize another agency's internal affairs to investigate an incident, whether it is to see if it's criminal or non-criminal of the officer that it's involved with. So right there is several different ways. Also, too, let's talk about the policies and procedures. Policies and procedures are done. Almost every agency within the state of Florida are accredited through the state accreditation, and that's what they look at, policies and procedures. So I commend this legislation, House Bill 601, establishing these oversight boards for looking at policies and procedures, because that's where it starts at, the policies and procedures. If they violate the policy and procedures, they're held accountable by their agency. These men and women do not need to be scrutinized again and again by a committee that has no idea of what they're talking about. And on the 601, it requires them to have a law enforcement retiree at least on that board, from 3 to 7 people. That's fairness. And that's what this state does, is fairness. So I just want to say, commend the legislators. Thank you for this great legislation. Governor, I always tell everybody I have the best job in the world, but I really don't. I wish I was a canine handler, because this is awesome. That is the best job in the world, but I want to thank you for your leadership and having our back always. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Governor, legislature, commissioner, my fellow commissioners, of course, here in the Board of County Commissioners, of course, my fellow chiefs here and the entire SJSO personnel. Thank you for being here this morning at the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. Florida Legislature and Governor, you have once again set the gold standard in the United States of America, and you've proved, you continue to prove, and set the standard that we live in the most law enforcement-friendly state in the United States of America, and you continue to do this. With the signing of Senate Bill 184, it just simply puts an exclamation point behind of what Back the Blue truly means in the state of Florida. You never know what you can encounter when responding to a call for service. And this doesn't just go for the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and all my fellow brothers and sisters that wear this uniform. This goes for these two chiefs that sit here today in front of you with St. Johns County Fire and Rescue, which is Chief McGee, and Chief Avalise with St. Augustine Fire Department. This protects those men and women, too, that wear the same uniform and provide the same services. And what this does is it sets up that boundary, that protective area around us, so we can do our jobs.